I'll now call the General Committee meeting to order for November 27th. This meeting is being held in person and electronically in accordance with the Municipal Act. The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. For the consent items, I'll read out the title associated with the recommended motions printed on the agenda. Members of General Committee may ask that an item be held to discuss it further. If an item is not held, the motion is deemed to be approved on consent. No further discussion of the item will take place at the General Committee meeting, and the recommended motions will go forward to the next City Council meeting for consideration. On the way to those motions, we do have two reports of reference in special committees that we'd like to get an update from. So the first one is Infrastructure and Community Investment Committee from the 13th of November. Councillor Hamilton, do you have a summary of the meeting to provide?
I do. Thank you. Through you, Mayor Nuttall. The Infrastructure and Community Investment Committee met on November 13th. Everybody was present. The first part of the meeting focused on the outdoor racket sports strategy, which you will see on tonight. That will guide the future planning and capital forecasting for outdoor tennis and pickleball facilities in Barrie. The next part of the meeting was a presentation concerning development and environmental protection and looking at potential environmental risks associated with development. And the final portion of the meeting focused on a presentation concerning the 2025 transit network adjustments. You will see in General Committee tonight, we've got a number of proposed service adjustments. Presentation enables some great dialogue concerning some of the changes happening with our transit system, and I think really highlighted how flexible and responsive staff have been to resident requests and input and feedback, which I think has been great. I think we pointed out this is still a learning and change is always difficult, but I think staff's been really attentive to some of the changes here, as you will see tonight. And the final item was concerning the Bayview Disc Golf Course, and that was to be deferred.
Thank you so much, Councillor. And so the motions, as stated, are IC1, the outdoor racket sports strategy. That's approved on consent. And IC2, the Barrie Transit's 2025 network service adjustments. That too is approved on consent, which brings us to 5.2. Councillor Nixon, the report of the Affordability Committee from the 14th of November 2024. Could you please provide a summary of the meeting for us?
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Yes, Thursday, November 14th, 2024, the Affordability Committee came to order at 6:03 p.m. In attendance, we had the full Affordability Committee, as well as all members of Council and 14 staff members. It was a full house that night with 27 in-person deputations. Concerning the new comprehensive citywide zoning bylaw, draft 3, whereas Michelle Banfield, Executive Director of Development Services, and Lee Munich, Planner of the Development Services Department, provided a presentation regarding the new comprehensive citywide zoning bylaw. Ms. Banfield and Mr. Munich discussed slides concerning several issues. As I say, we had 27 public comments, as well as 73 written submissions. That kind of rounds out to we had 100 different people have had their comments to the evening, so it was certainly a topic that many people are interested in. The meeting adjourned at 8:27 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, for the update. The DEV 0, we're going to move into the staff reports. DEV 050-24, this is a zoning bylaw amendment application for 196 and 202 Dunlop Street West. That's approved. ECD 011-24, this is held. It's a University STEM Hub campus investment in Barrie, Lakehead University. That's held by Deputy Mayor Thompson. And the final item on tonight's agenda is the invitation to present from Empower Simcoe put on by Councillor Morales. That Empower Simcoe be extended an invitation to present to an available city council meeting. And if that's not held, it's approved on consent. Now that means there's one item that we will go back to after I do a presentation here, and we have another presentation. So if you give me a moment, I'm just going to go over to the podium to introduce the next presentation. Now I see the microphone's already on, so I'm going to jump into this. And while there's a presentation on the agenda, there's another one that we need to take the time to do tonight. And I'd like to call upon Dawn McAlpine, our General Manager of Community and Corporate Services, to come to the podium. Dawn is retiring with her last day in office being November 29th, 2024. How mad are you right now, Dawn? Tell the truth.
I'm not sure I can express it.
I've known Dawn since 2003, and I can tell you that this is a person that we are going to miss immensely. Any questions that you potentially have around this table, you get to ask as members of council. There's many, many, many more that I've had to ask day in and day out. And to be here for Dawn's retirement, I mean, it's really full circle for me. I know I said this last Thursday, but Dawn was the person who was here swearing me in when I was a student mayor. She was a person here, and I know it's hard to believe, Dawn, but the person here when I was first a city councillor too, and everybody in this room, every single person in this room looks to you for your leadership, for your knowledge, for your wisdom, and I don't think there's a way that we can actually say thank you enough, but we tried. And so I wanted to, first of all, make it known that I believe this has been reported, Madam Clerk, wherever you are, that under Bill 3, the Strong Mayors Building Homes Act 2022, which amended the Municipal Act 2001, I, Alex Nuttall, Mayor of the City of Barrie, hereby formally acknowledge Dawn McAlpine, an employee of distinction for over 33 years with the City of Barrie, who will be retiring from the corporation on November 30th, 2024. Dawn has been a pillar in the corporation and is congratulated and recognized for her many achievements. There are far too many to count as she starts this next chapter. It's been a pleasure and honor to work with you, Dawn, in my role as a member of council and now as mayor. And this was dated today, November 27th of 2024. But we as a council, Dawn, we wanted to do this last week and completely, I unfortunately was unable to be with you. And so I wanted to read out what we as a team wanted to say and get to say this week at General Committee. Whereas Dawn McAlpine has been an employee of distinction for over 33 years with the City of Barrie and has now decided to enter a new chapter in her life, retirement. And whereas Dawn's illustrious career at the City of Barrie started when she was first hired as a waste reduction trainee with the Municipal Works Department on September 3rd, 1991. You were 3 years old. And whereas Dawn's environmental and greenways led her to a permanent role of waste reduction officer in 1993, where one of her many claims of fame was rolling out the recycling cart program to multi-residential buildings, as well as piloting the first multi-residential composting program. And whereas Dawn's continued drive and hard work resulted in her moving into the role of temporary economic development officer in 1996. And whereas Dawn continued to work as an economic development officer and was made permanent in that role in 1998, where she was responsible for business attraction and retention. And whereas Dawn joined the city clerk's office in 2001 as a city clerk's assistant. And whereas Dawn's work ethic and dedication was further recognized when she was appointed as a deputy city clerk in 2002. Michael, could you come up here for me? If you can just finish this for me, sir. Thank you, yes.
I'm not sure where the mayor left it off. Did we get to the clerk? Dawn? Okay. And whereas Dawn joined the city clerk's office in 2001 as city clerk's assistant, and whereas Dawn's work ethic and dedication was further recognized when she was appointed as deputy clerk in 2002, and whereas Dawn's continued initiative, drive, and her encyclopedia brain led her to the role of city clerk in 2007, and whereas Dawn's contributions to the corporation were further recognized when she became the Director of Legislative and Court Services in 2011, in addition to her role of City Clerk. And whereas Dawn was recognized for her role as City Clerk and for her love of the community by receiving the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Award in 2012. And whereas Dawn served as City Clerk over 3 terms of council and attended approximately 1,000, Dawn, council and committee meetings. I can't believe you didn't retire sooner. Coordinated 5 municipal elections, 5, while she was both deputy clerk and city clerk, and conducted 1 by-election and 1 council appointment. And whereas Dawn's dedication, hard work, care, and commitment to the City of Barrie led her to the role of General Manager of Community and Corporate Services in 2017. And whereas, there's a lot of them, Dawn in her role as General Manager has rappelled down City Hall, ran through burning buildings, attended groundbreakings for new facilities, learned new recreational activities, worked with other government agencies on a multitude of community concerns, all the while being the biggest cheerleader and supporter of staff in her departments and across the corporation. Whether it was celebrating achievements, laughing at a joke, or crying with them when life wasn't going well. And whereas Dawn's strategic and forward thinking and her tenure with the City of Barrie has solidified her as a valued and vital member of the executive management team, and whereas Dawn's immense knowledge of all things Barrie, quick and thorough responses, professionalism and advice, and political acuity is recognized, respected, and appreciated by this council and past councils, and therefore be it resolved that on behalf of Barrie City Council and city staff, that this resolution is just a small token of the much-deserved recognition for Dawn, as she will be missed by everyone, and that Dawn is a pillar of the corporation, a valued colleague and a friend to all of those who have had the opportunity to cross paths with her over the last 33 years, and that Dawn be congratulated and recognized for her many achievements, too many to count, as she starts the next chapter in her life. Dawn, I'd like to present you with a framed, signed version of this resolution. Mayor Nuttall, are you all right? Step back.
No, you should do this with me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is all for you. Can you take that off?
Thank you. That's lovely.
You have to show everybody.
Buddy. Yeah, I don't want to drop that.
Now, Dawn, there's also a photograph we'd like to give you. Now, you'll notice it's a little darker at City Hall with you gone. But I'm sure those lights will turn back on when you use that key to the city to come see us, you know, hopefully every day, but I'm sure we need you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you.
Would you like to come say a few words?
Well, I'm not prepared. Thank you all for the wonderful words, the resolution. I'm overwhelmed. It's been a great opportunity to serve the community, council, and the corporation, and it's been my honor. So thank you all. And I'm not sure what to list as some of the best things to have done in my career, but working with such a fabulous group of people, whether staff, council, and even our community partners, and sometimes some members of the media. I want to, it's been a wonderful 33 years, and thank you all very much.
Well, you didn't think you were getting away like that, did you? Thanks, Wendy.
Don, we're going to have to get someone to help you take all of those things down to the car tonight.
She'll be in tomorrow.
Yeah, she'll be in tomorrow, that's right.
I was just saying to the CAO that packing these things will be much nicer than the budget binders I packed in my car.
There is no question, no question. Well, thank you again, and thank you, Michael, for assisting there for a moment. We're going to now go into our next presentation, and we're going to invite representatives from Lakehead University to come up. Now, this is, we're going to deal with this similarly as we did a few weeks ago, where we have the actual report happening the same time as the presentation itself. So I'm going to ask the Deputy Mayor to put that on the floor. You still have the first crack afterwards, but if you could put that on the floor, and then we will have the actual presentation to start.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. I'll put it on the floor as printed.
Thank you, and I'd like to call upon Stephanie Schlichter, Director of Economic and Creative Development, to please approach the podium.
Thank you very much. It is truly difficult to imagine a city hall without Dawn. So I'm very privileged tonight to be able to be delivering a presentation at your very last committee meeting. So good evening, Mayor Nuttall, Deputy Mayor Thompson, and members of council. Coinciding with the staff report before you this evening, I would like to provide members of council with an overview of the University STEM Hub opportunity for Barrie. And I'm also joined by President Siddall and Provost David Barnett from Lakehead University, who will also be presenting this evening. And maybe I'll ask you if you want to come down and join me, and we'll get this thing going. Council desire, business, and community support for a university campus in the City of Barrie has been a long-standing vision. Going as far back as 2011, the city has made financial commitments to secure university programming in the City of Barrie. As the city's population growth will be nearly doubled by 2051, in addition to the growth in the areas surrounding Barrie, the need for a skilled workforce in areas like engineering, technology, and innovation are critical to securing and attracting employment to support our growth. Barrie's educational attainment rates in university training lag other urban growth centres, and despite Barrie being one of the youngest communities in Ontario, we generally maintain a low participation rate in university studies in all age categories when compared to Ontario. You can see the positive impact that a post-secondary institution has on a community. Having Georgian College rooted in our community has resulted in education attainment rates for diploma or post-secondary certificates higher than the provincial and federal rates. However, there remains an overall gap between the provincial and federal rates of post-secondary attainment as a whole in Barrie. We also see from our work done at the county level with a labor market analysis that at least 1/5 of jobs in our manufacturing sector requires a university level education. Through the vision of the Mayor's Office, direction received from Council, and building on the Georgian College and Lakehead University established diploma to degree programming in the faculty areas of engineering and computer science, Invest Barrie has been working with Lakehead University to establish a STEM hub in Barrie, offering undergraduate and graduate degree programming across the engineering and computer science disciplines, including mechatronics, electrical, and software engineering. At this time, I'd like to invite President Siddall and Provost Barnett to the podium to share their vision for Lakehead University in Barrie.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here tonight. Mayor and councillors, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'm going to be speaking to you. David is sitting here. He's here because he's the expert on the academic components of this proposal, and he will be able to answer questions that you might have about that. We're delighted to share what we believe will be a game-changing evolution of Lakehead University's presence in Barrie, an initiative that will bring fresh opportunities for cutting-edge learning, bold innovation, and transformative growth. As Ontario's top-ranked primarily undergraduate university and 5th in Canada, according to Maclean's University Rankings for 2025, Lakehead University has a proud history of delivering world-class education that transforms communities. The Lakehead University STEM Hub is purposefully designed to meet Barrie's critical labor force needs, fuel economic development, and establish a strong, enduring partnership with the city. This hub will be a powerful engine for preparing a skilled workforce, sparking local innovation, and elevating Barrie's reputation as a forward-thinking, vibrant city. We're excited to share how this opportunity perfectly aligns with Barrie's future vision and why your support is vital to bringing this vision to life. The heart of our proposal is the creation of a new Lakehead University STEM Hub in downtown Barrie. The STEM Hub will be a transformative center designed to meet Barrie's workforce and innovation needs by offering degree-level programs in high-demand fields such as computer science and engineering disciplines, including electrical engineering and mechatronics. These are critical areas where local industries have shown an increasing need for specialized talent, and our goal is to meet that demand head on. Excuse me. Lakehead STEM Hub will provide advanced university-level programs that complement the existing offerings in Barrie, particularly those at Georgian College. By focusing on electrical engineering, computer science, and mechatronics, Lakehead will bridge vital gaps in the educational landscape, ensuring that students and local industries gain access to a broad spectrum of opportunities. This initiative will create a cohesive educational ecosystem that serves the full spectrum of student pathways, from diploma to degree and beyond. The STEM Hub will be transformative for local industries and for people. The hub will prepare learners in the region for well-paying, thriving careers that will empower people to build a secure future for their families in the city of Barrie. We are aiming for a September 2026 launch for these programs with a focus on establishing a hub that accelerates innovation and supports Barrie's social and economic aspirations. Universities are powerful engines of economic growth, and we've seen this firsthand with our campuses in Orillia and Thunder Bay. In 2023 alone, Lakehead's presence in Orillia generated $328 million in local economic activity, increasing over 70% in just 5 years. And our impact in the province of Ontario on GDP is about $4.5 billion, so it's quite significant. While the STEM Hub in Barrie will have a specialized focus, it presents a substantial opportunity to fuel the city's economic growth, drive innovation, and support critical industries by developing a highly skilled workforce. Our STEM Hub will attract both talent and technology, positioning Barrie at the forefront of high-demand fields like electrical engineering, computer science, and mechatronics. The Hub isn't just a place for education, it's an incubator of innovation, where students, researchers, and local industries collaborate to solve real-world challenges. Research and development from the Hub will directly impact local industries, fostering advancements that strengthen competitiveness and drive growth. A university presence in Barrie's downtown district will revitalize local businesses and create a lively, bustling atmosphere with students, faculty, and staff contributing to local community. Retail, dining, and other services will see increased demand as the university community stimulates a vibrant economic ecosystem. This is a proven impact we've observed in Orillia and in Thunder Bay. But the true long-term impact will come from Lakehead's integration with Barrie's local industries. Through partnerships with local businesses, we will foster innovation, create co-op placements, and establish research collaborations that benefit students and drive growth in the wider economy. This engagement will sustain Lakehead's economic contribution, ensuring Barrie becomes a hub for technological advancement and enduring innovation. Building on this, one of the most impactful ways Lakehead will drive sustained economic growth in Barrie is by developing the skilled workforce that local industries need. The long-term success of any city depends on having a labor force equipped with the expertise and training that businesses demand, and this is where Lakehead's STEM Hub will play a crucial role. The programs we're introducing are directly aligned with Barrie's labor market needs. By providing specialized training in these fields, we are preparing graduates to step into high-demand roles, ensuring a steady pipeline of talent for local industries. Lakehead has a strong record of retaining local talent, with a large portion of our graduates staying in the regions where they've studied, contributing their skills to the local economy. Importantly, 100% of undergraduate students at Lakehead participate in hands-on experiential learning, which allows them to transition seamlessly into the workforce. And over 95% of students in STEM programs participate in work-integrated learning through partnerships with local industry, providing opportunities for both students and employers. Over 97% of Lakehead graduates are employed within 2 years of graduating, and over 90% of Lakehead graduates work in jobs directly related to their studies. And 37% of Aurelia grads since over the past 5 years live and work in Barrie, which I didn't know, actually. I just found that out recently. It's a very interesting stat, and 42% live in Simcoe County. This proven ability of Lakehead grads to transition into the workforce ensures that Barrie's investment in education will result in long-term economic benefits as graduates continue to contribute to the city's industries and community. Beyond the economic and educational benefits, this project is about forging a long-term partnership with the city. We see this STEM hub as an opportunity to strengthen Barrie's community and its future. Our commitment is to ensure that this hub aligns with the city's values and goals, becoming an integral part of Barrie's identity. As we develop the STEM hub, it's important to consider the space and facilities needed to attract students and support their success. We envision state-of-the-art laboratories, research spaces, and collaborative environments that will drive innovation and give students the hands-on experience they need to meet the demands of local industries. We will work closely with the city to secure the appropriate space to ensure that the hub can thrive and evolve in line with Barrie's needs. A critical element of this project is our relationship with Georgian College, a key partner in the region. Lakehead University and Georgian College have been working together as positive reciprocal partners for years to meet the educational needs of the region. Establishing a university-level STEM hub in Barrie represents a natural evolution of our partnership. We are fully committed to working with Georgian to ensure that both institutions continue to thrive and support Barrie's growth. Lakehead's programs are designed to complement, not compete with, Georgian's offerings. By focusing on STEM fields, Lakehead will help Barrie build a more diverse and robust educational landscape, providing the city with a broader range of opportunities for students and industries alike. Additionally, with the recently announced guaranteed admissions agreement between Lakehead and Georgian, students from Georgian will have the opportunity to seamlessly pursue a university degree after completing their diploma, benefiting from both top-tier college and university-level education. As we work to bring Lakehead University's STEM hub to fruition, we are committed to partnering with the City of Barrie to ensure this initiative supports the city's priorities and long-term vision. Together with the Mayor's Office, we've laid the groundwork for a plan that aligns with Barrie's aspirations for economic prosperity, workforce readiness, and innovation. Our collaboration emphasizes the critical infrastructure required for this project: modern labs, research facilities, and learning spaces designed to prepare students with the skills and knowledge needed to meet the demands of local industries in fields like electrical engineering, computer science, and mechatronics. This is about more than just buildings. It's about establishing a center for innovation. creating opportunities for economic growth, and equipping Barrie's workforce with the skills to succeed. It's also about fostering an inclusive, accessible environment where people can gain the education and skills to achieve their goals. As Simcoe County's university, this is the essence of Lakehead's mission. We deeply value Council's role in shaping Barrie's future and recognize the importance of your support in making this vision a reality. We look forward to working with you to bring this transformative opportunity to life. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have when the time is appropriate.
Thank you so much. In order to meet a September 2026 school year, leveraging pre-existing space was a key factor in looking at site selection opportunities to accommodate a Lakehead presence here in Barrie. The movement of the transit hub from the first floor of the transit terminal to the Allendale Transit Hub provided a unique opportunity to repurpose vacated space to serve a strategic priority and leverage the city's current investment into the Sandbox Centre. Given the timing and space needs of Lakehead University, and in working with the facilities team to imagine the transit space as a university STEM hub, the modular concept was presented and supported by Lakehead. The use of modular builds provides a wealth of design options to create unique learning spaces for students comprised of labs, classroom, and research amenities with a campus-like aesthetic. The benefit of modular design is that it meets a temporary need while providing the potential for future reuse for the city's other city space needs and projects. The acquisition of these modular builds, along with the need to renovate the first floor of the terminal to provide an adequate number of fixtures, are key cost drivers of this first phase. In working with facilities, a high-level capital cost estimate has been completed and is included in the staff report that would be supported by the prior funding envelope allocated to the permanent market and advancing its expenditure within the city's capital plan. Further refinement of space needs and detailed work in collaboration with Lakehead and facilities team will be the proposed next steps in order to refine cost estimates. Further, as identified in the staff report being presented this evening, in order for Lakehead to deliver a STEM hub, a further one-time capital contribution commitment is required to support the startup capital required to equip the space, in addition to one-time startup funding while student enrollment grows and programs become self-sustaining. There we go. Barrie is in an incredibly unique position to advance itself as an innovation hub. The 2024 provincial budget announcement establishing a regional innovation center in Barrie, combined with the research and innovation work happening at Georgian College, the addition of a STEM hub will create a robust center in Barrie for higher education and innovation, serving the city and the surrounding area. The Aurelia campus alone drives $328 million of economic impact into that community. For Barrie, that impact is vital to our downtown and equally important to the power of an innovation hub that will attract students and support the talent needs of our existing employers and allow us to attract new investments to the city in collaboration with some of the recent announcements tied to Honda and in support of our manufacturing sector. With that, I would like to conclude the presentation for this evening, and we are happy to take any questions that council may have.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for the presentation, along with Dr. Siddle as well. And welcome to your team to Barrie City Hall and to the City of Barrie, I guess, a growth as your relationship with Georgian College already exists. So really appreciate you coming out tonight. Now, I know there's going to be questions for our presenters. I'm going to start with Deputy Mayor Thompson as he held the item, and then I've got Councillor Rietma, then Councillor Kungle, Councillor Corser, and Councillor Negussi.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. And thank you, Dr. Siddle. You don't need to get up. I just thank you. We met the other day, and just your passion for what you do, but also for our city and how excited you are and the vision you have. And we were fortunate enough to walk, to get into our cars, and you've seen a bigger vision of like the theater and everything. And it was so nice to hear that you know, how much you want to be here, which, you know, from where I'm sitting is a great feeling. So thank you for that. That was more of my comment. I've got a question for Stephanie, though, if you don't mind. Sorry, Ms. Sickler. And, you know, CIO Prowse and Mayor Nuttall might be the only ones that were on this time. What was the original funding? And I can't remember what year it was when we started the conversation of inviting or trying to attract a university.
In going back, the original commitment was in 2011, and then it was reaffirmed again in 2014 as part of a provincial bid.
Okay. And how much was it?
Just over I believe it was 14 million.
Okay, so kind of based on inflationary increases and stuff, we're probably just shy or just over $19 million, I would say. So $19 million in today's money and no university. And today we're looking at 50% of that. And we have the people right behind you that are coming here. So I think that's an absolutely win for us, understanding, you know, some people are worried about the financial investment in the capital and stuff, but seeing what this council and, you know, everybody who's worked on this is, as the team, like I spoke about the other day, you know, to deliver a STEM hub here, you know, for our downtown is excellent. And, you know, I know you're a big driver of that. So I want to thank you for all your work on this. But I think we've set the tone of getting things done that have historically failed. And it's nice to see. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm now going to go to Councillor Riepma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm also very supportive of this, and it's very exciting to see. And especially since you're going to be teaching engineering, I'm very, very supportive of that. And I think also what happens is that when a student goes to university, he tends to stay around the university in that area and work there for the rest of his life. I'm a prime example of that. I left the farm and went to school, and here I am. And what I wanted to just ask a question about students. In the next 5 years, this is kind of a 5-year plan, how many students would you expect to have on campus, say, at the end of the 5 years?
We're expecting about 750 students. We would have capacity for 800 students.
Do you have a sense of how that will ramp up, like in the first, second, third, fourth years, that kind of thing?
I'm going to defer to David on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if I have all the numbers with me, but I think we're looking at about 200 in the first year, and then ramping up kind of, you know, steadily over time to that 750 or so number of students. So,
okay, thank you for that. And Mr. Mayor, I'm kind of pleased that it's a ramping up over a period of time because these students also need a place to live. And that'll be mostly in the downtown area, I would think. And I think that we want to also turn our minds to how do we have good accommodation for them when they start arriving. So that's something we should think about.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll get into some of that, I think, a little bit more later on in the evening as well. I had next Councillor Kungl, then Councillor Corser.
Thank you, Dr. Siddell and Dr. Barnett. Really lovely to have you with us in addition to kind of the announcement. So again, I think as Deputy Mayor Thompson noted, Stephanie, to you and your team, exceptional work on this. And we know it takes a lot of effort by a lot of different departments and that political will and conversation. So across the board, really beautiful outcome, I think, that the city is embracing. And to the full Lakehead leadership team and departments, I mean, this takes a family. So great to see you supporting this and backing it. My questions are a little bit to build on Councillor Rietma's question. Within maybe that onboarding, is there anything for us to appreciate? So STEM, talking about the different programs within that, is there anyone in particular that those 200 students are targeted to, or is there an aspect of engineering or other parts that you're looking at first, or will it just be within that broader portfolio you're looking at recruitment for year one in 2026?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. So I think the suite of programs that we're looking at are very complementary. So we refer to this as a STEM hub, which it certainly is. But when you look at the programming that we have, so currently within the partnership that we've been doing with Georgian College for the past 7 years or so, we have electrical engineering and computer science. And those, we will continue to work on pathways from Georgian College to degree granting at Lakehead University in this STEM hub. But then adding to that software engineering, computer engineering eventually, but also mechatronics, as the president mentioned as well. And these all kind of mesh together. And so there's overlap, and there's also existing expertise and faculty that we already have in place from the Georgian partnership that would be transitioning into supporting the STEM hub as well. So we're not starting from zero. We have that base. We'll have a base of students to begin. We'll grow that, and we'll grow our supports in faculty and staff over time as well.
Thank you, Dr. Barnett. I've got maybe 2 more questions. For those that are just listening that may not be aware, could you very, very briefly talk a little bit about mechatronics?
Oh, the mechatronics question. So that really does kind of sit as at the overlap of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, bringing in computer science, computer engineering, those sorts of things. So when you think about mechatronics, think about things like robotics, think about advanced manufacturing, sensors and systems, those sorts of things that are really important to any sort of industry base, I think, at this point. And so I think it's an exciting opportunity for students to study in that particular area. It is, I think, a up and coming, has been around, but I mean, a more up and coming area, and I think it does support much of your industry base in this region.
And if I may, would that encompass a lot of different angles around how science is around mechatronics and what we're seeing in different fields of study in science and AI, or is it separate and apart?
Well, I don't think you can get anywhere without talking about AI right now. So, I'm actually an engineer myself, and so if you go back in the day, what we talk about in AI was machine learning, developing into these larger AI models that we have. So I think any of those fields would possibly be working in AI. Certainly our computer science folks are, our software engineers, but really any of the fields could be incorporating that into their curriculum, into the study. And I think that's really one of the key aspects when we talk about AI, because it does get a lot of talk, is how do we use that to improve our work environment, our lives throughout society, et cetera. And so I think we will be involved in that. Where that plays out exactly, I'm not sure. But the faculty members themselves, I know, are working in that field as well. So.
Thank you. I think we'll have a lot of competition for the Mayor's Innovations Awards in the coming years. And last question, when we talk about, if it's more a question to manage my assumptions, when we talk about the STEM being a hub, are you relocating then also some existing infrastructure at your other campuses, and will that allow for more capacity at those existing campuses, or would you be using, if so, would you be using maybe that capacity to increase other different departments or areas of focus? So just looking at, while you're growing STEM in this hub, is that an add-on, or will that create capacity to grow different programs within existing campuses where you might be able to kind of move them out, bring programs together that make sense to be together? So just looking at any backfill creation that creates for you in other areas of growth.
Well, I think it's certainly, so we're transitioning from the partnership sort of resources that we have as here in Barrie. We're also looking at how we would transition some of our programming in Thunder Bay into the STEM hub where it makes sense and it fits. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. And it does, certainly does not take away from the capacity that we're trying to build in Aurelia as well in other programming areas.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. And we wouldn't want anyone to think that we don't have a lot of competition for the Mayor's Innovation Awards right now, because we do. But over to Councillor Corser.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Nuttall, to our, well, first I'd like to say I took an afternoon of machine learning, so that makes me an expert at this point. And I'm thinking about like kicking the political bug and going for mechatronics myself because it's so super cool sounding. But I just wanted to put a nod to Councillor Rima and others because there is a concern about supporting students to make sure that they are able to find accommodations and be able to afford to be able to attend and all the things that we would like to wrap around so they're looked after and they're successful in our community. And I know there's a capacity issue now in our community, so I'm hoping that we can come up with some solutions. But I did have a question for maybe Stephanie or other staff. For paragraph 71, just at, where's my notes? So it looks like an impact on operations budget at estimated $450,000 a year ongoing, dependent on student enrollment. Is that operational cost, maintaining the building, or is this general operational cost of impact to the downtown core and more bodies, if you will, downtown? Wasn't sure what that was getting to. It's the last paragraph, 71 on the staff report.
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Corser, and I don't have the report in front of me, so I'm going strictly by memory here. When we speak about the operating costs related to the transit terminal and the interest, so currently it's got an operational budget, and I think that's the paragraph we're referring to. I'm looking to Rick. Or sorry, Mr. Fuse. So there is currently an operating budget that's in there that supports transit and supports the Sandbox Center. With the movement of the transit hub, there will be a portion of that budget transferred over to Allendale to support those operations. So as a result, there will be a net increase to continue maintaining heat, hydro, the basics. So that is what that is identifying. We just don't know what that number is going to look like until it's actually operating. And we would expect that as you have more bodies in the building, the need for temperature fluctuate, there will be some shifts that will impact that financial perspective. We just don't have a number to put on it at this point.
Okay, thank you very much. And if just one more, if I could, with the proposed, I don't remember if it was a closed off deal or where we were with the market precinct and the idea of that space. Was there any money in reserves for that? Will that be transferred over to this project? Or I don't remember where we were sitting on the market, the market hub. Can you refresh my memory on that, please, Ms. Lichter?
I sure can, through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Corser. In 2023, I believe that we had provided a memo indicating where we had been operationally as it related to going out to a consultant and where the project sat. Council deferred that memo to a future time. It has not yet returned. There is a capital plan item related to the permanent market that is strictly related to implementation and build out. That item is what we are suggesting be deleted and those funds be allocated to this project and advanced in that capital plan, and the total was $6.5 million. There was no operating at that time associated with it, just given where it was built out into the capital plan.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to confirm my brain was in the right place with that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Corser. We're now going to go to Councillor Negussi.
Thank you. Through to you, Mayor Nuttall. My question is to Dr. Siddle and her team. Welcome, Doctor, and we are very excited to have Lakehead University in our beautiful city. Just quick question. Down the road, perhaps 5 or 10 years from now, would Lakehead University consider including medical fields in the program? As you know, our region is facing a significant shortage of doctors, PA, physician assistants, radiologists, X-ray technicians, and so on. On the other hand, we are fortunate to have RVH in our beautiful city. And I believe that establishing a medical program in collaboration with RVH and the City of Barrie could be highly beneficial. Are there any plan to address this pressing need by incorporating medical program into Lakehead University future curriculum?
Well, I think that would be a beautiful thing, but I think we need to take this one step at a time and establish the STEM hub and see where we grow from there. But certainly, we're working on establishing a veterinary school in collaboration with the University of Guelph right now on our Thunder Bay campus. So we're always open to interesting partnerships for sure.
Okay. Follow up one more question. I have one more question that will be for staff, probably Mr. Prowse. I'm going to ask the same question what Councillor Rema raised. There is ongoing concern regarding student housing near to Georgian College, and many residents are worried about similar issues arising with the opening of Lakehead University in our city. Is there any plan in place to ensure that both Lakehead student and our resident wouldn't face similar situation?
Through you, Mayor, excuse me, through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Negussi. Councillor Negussi and members of committee, certainly what's in front of committee tonight is sort of a 5-year window as part of an opportunity to bring Lakehead to the City of Barrie. But it certainly is not the completion of our discussions with Lakehead or the strategy that has been deployed to envision what they can do in partnership with the City of Barrie. So that is presenting tonight a 5-year plan, and we are already working on a longer-term plan. Certainly as part of all of those pieces, recognizing that adding additional students or residents to the downtown core is both a benefit and we'll have potentially some needs. So staff have already been working on that. I can tell you currently in the downtown core, we have about 2,700 units that have been approved for construction. We have about 1,300 units under construction. That will facilitate about 6,000 people really in the envelope that is in front of the city today. In addition to that, as General Committee is aware, the province was at the announcement last Thursday and committed $1 million to student housing solutions in partnership with the City of Barrie and Lakehead University. City staff immediately have been in dialogue around what do the next 5 years look like and what do the 5 years look like after that, because Lakehead has been very clear that it is their intention to partner with the city for the long term, and it is in our intention, should council approve it, we do the same. So staff have already been working with developers on what are options to both facilitate a long-term solution for Lakehead as well as potentially student housing and what that would look like to support the Lakehead clientele. And we look forward to bringing that information back to City Council, probably not before Christmas, but in relatively short order is our intention.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to Councillor Morales and then Deputy Mayor Thompson and then Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. My only question really focused around student housing, which we got a lot of good comprehensive responses from our CAO. However, I do want to direct the question to our Lakehead guests. Still about student housing, yeah, thank you if you could approach the podium. So now knowing that obviously there's a commitment, an acknowledgement and commitment from the province, a desire from the city to do this, I'll give you a little background and then ask the question. So first of all, congratulations. This is, everyone's already said it's incredible. It's going to do great things for our community, the jobs, the educational opportunities. Mayor Nuttall, I hope I'm not stealing your thunder. You said some really good comments last Thursday. It's not just about the kids who are studying. It's about those kids who didn't have a choice to go to another university. The numbers didn't add up. The programs that we have, which they're much better now provincially for loans, they fell through the gap, and it was either not, it was just not study their dreams, and now they can do that. So hope I didn't steal your thunder, but it should be said in this context here. But also, as Ms. Schlichter knows this better than a lot of people, a lot of employers, both locally, look to see that these metrics exist in the local ecosystem to expand, or external employers to locate. Local metrics usually can Power Grid handle it? Mrs. Schlichter smiling, she's like, he's paid attention. Is there enough water to cool, to cool some of the data storage systems? Is the transportation there, and is the education workforce? So these very programs, some people might say they're too niche, or like, what's the big ripple effect? You'll find out. And I'm excited that Barrie residents will get to find out as we develop throughout the years. So to my question to premise this, student housing is necessary. I think you referenced University of Guelph, my alma mater. They do it really well, and they have been since around 2014, 15, both on campus and also off campus. The lands are a little bit more assembled off Gordon and some different roads. It's easier for the private sector to go in there and master build instead of like piecing together the lots. But it's, there's many examples, not just in Barrie, but around the province, where if you expand without having appropriate student housing, and it's a complex question. Sometimes you provide it, your boards make the decision to build it, and then sometimes when I say provide it, it's just the private sector responds. And if they don't respond, then it falls on you, or growth has to be tempered. Because it affects not only the quality for your students, but the livability for our residents. It affects the rental market. It prices families out, because investors will go, I'm just going to rent to as many students as I can. It's plain and simple. It affects not just Ward 1 in the existing case, but it affects the surrounding communities. So it has a huge ripple effect, and especially in a housing crisis. Knowing that Mr. Prowse already answered, I guess, where the province is at, I'm just wondering, in your own words, what is Lakehead's current, and it can evolve, but current position on student housing being a core component of your vision as you come to Barrie?
Well, thank you for that. And the University of Guelph is also my alma mater, so I share your affection for that university. Currently, I think I would say our position is that we're wanting to work very closely with the city on solutions for housing. Currently, housing is not part of the space that we're talking about together. I would also say that we know that on our Aurelia campus, about 50% of our students are from the local area. And we expect that will be the same in Barrie. So it isn't quite the same impact that other campuses and other locations might have. We also anticipate that because Barrie is on the goal line, and Aurelia is not on the goal line, that students who are in the Toronto area, they will commute. They won't necessarily relocate. So I think we don't know yet for sure what the impact will be, but with the $1 million from the government, that's a great step up in looking at solutions. We also have recently started using an app called Spaces Shared. I think it's Spaces Shared. It's either Shared Spaces or Spaces Shared. And it's an app that connects homeowners who have space in their houses, often older homeowners, with students who are looking for space. And it's a really elegant solution to, or at least a partial solution to this problem that really works to the benefit of both the students and the homeowners.
Thank you for that, and thank you for being patient with my long lead up to the question. The reason I framed it this way is some of our local residents, again, like, it's a niche program, it's a good number of students. They're paying their bills, they're working, they maybe don't have kids that are about to go to university. And it's not that they're selfish, it's that the one thing that I've heard a little bit, not just about you guys, but just universities in general, the existing post-secondary opportunities, which are great, and the incoming ones, is, okay, growth is great, but at the expense of local residents, specifically because we do have a unique market that we're a small enough city, but contained, where a ripple like this does make an impact, right? In a more metropolis area, you can add 100 students, you don't see it in the numbers, in the macro. So as a result, it's not that they don't want investment, they just want to make sure that it affects people at the kitchen table, not just at the council table. Right, we can talk economic development. That's a great line. I'm going to use that line. Stephanie's looking at me again. So they may acknowledge the KPIs, but they want that human aspect. So I just want to make sure, and the reason I asked the question, I know student housing doesn't happen overnight. I know that there might be lots of commuting and localized options, but the fact that it's at the level of the decision makers at Lakehead and at your board of directors, if it's a conversation that's happening, we're likely going to get positive outcomes. Because when the decisions are not there, that's when we struggle. And anyways, I just want to close by saying, and if you want to add anything, it gives me confidence to be able to go back to those residents that go, is this going to hurt the local market, which is already struggling, not just in Barrie, but everywhere. And the fact that it's on your radar, I think, is going to make a lot of people more comfortable. So welcome to Barrie.
Thank you. And if I may, it's absolutely on our radar, and we work hard to make sure that students on the Thunder Bay campus and the Aurelia campus and now in Barrie have a place to live, and being mindful of the impact on the city.
Thank you, Councillor Morales. I'm going to go to Deputy Mayor Thompson, then Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. This is for Ms. Slick. Councillor Corser brought up something, and actually I was just thinking about that, and I know there's been some, I guess you could say a little bit of misinformation or just around. The whole build out of the permanent market was between 29 and 32 million over several years. Is that correct?
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Deputy Mayor Thompson, at the time that the market precinct report came forward, there was a broader estimate of that 29 to 30 million over, I believe it was a 12 to 15 year period, and it included both the permanent market and some additional structures that would be ancillary to that.
And just to follow up, and that also consisted of the current location for the farmers market as they would move to the new precinct, correct?
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Deputy Mayor Thompson, the vision had been that there would be an independent building constructed to support the farmers market moving down to that area, yes.
And I was on council at that time, and if I remember correctly, it was near the end of our term, we received a letter from the farmers market that said that they kind of objected to moving, that they were satisfied being here at City Hall, and they would like to look at options to grow out. And I think there were some huts that were going to be along the planter boxes and stuff. Is that correct?
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Deputy Mayor Thompson, yes, there was correspondence provided by the farmers market about the same time we delivered our memo, which was January of 2023, indicating that they were content at the City Hall and would prefer to stay here.
Last question on that. We put out an RFQ or an RFP for a design of the precinct. How many people did we get a response from?
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Deputy Mayor Thompson, 0.
Perfect. Yeah, just so I'll say it again. Thank you, Dr. Siddle, for wanting to be here and wanting to be part of Barrie. And I think we need to move on to things that don't want to be there and politicians telling them they should go there. So thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Thompson. I'm going to go to Councillor Harris now.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. And thank you, Dr. Siddle and Dr. Barnett and the Lakehead team. Exciting day, obviously, and had a chance to be at the celebration last week, and it was great to see the energy and excitement across our city. Lots of things that are exciting and interesting, and to see in the presentation things like supporting local business, partnerships around the world, and the investment, and obviously the total impact on the communities that have the university campuses. I was just wondering, it's interesting how things align, but we just had a delegation that went to Germany, and we saw some of the most technologically advanced companies, and it was incredible. And it was actually part of the tour was put in place by a fabulous business owner who SBS Drive Tech here in Barrie, the Berger Group, Fabian Berger. So one thing that we did when we were there, we visited the University of Offenburg, And it was incredible to see the connection. And it was a robotics and cobotics lab. So quite fascinating. So, mechatronics also new to me. But just wonder if you talk a bit about that connection, because what we saw in Germany and was an incredible partnership and collaboration between students and business and the school. And so I'm wondering, and I read it obviously about the support for local business, but I'm wondering also too about the attraction of business that is provided by having a university, a STEM focused university in Barrie, and knowing as we see these advanced technology and how manufacturing happens in today's world, it's very specialized labor and incredibly skilled, and no question a university program with a college program supporting it is a wonderful 1-2 punch. I don't know if you could expand a bit on those partnerships and what it means for a community and how that all comes together. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for the question. I think, certainly, so I mentioned earlier, I'm an engineer. I was the Dean of Engineering at Lakehead prior to being the provost here. And one of the things that we prided ourselves on was really the experiential learning, the work integrated learning, the ability to do co-op, and all of the programs that we're talking about here would also have co-op and internship opportunities as well. And so there is a bit of a, building up that relationship with industries that we can work with. But that is an important part of what we pride ourselves on in terms of our educational experience. And so it will evolve over time, but that I think is critical to making it a Lakehead education, and that is one that makes people work ready, particularly in these technical skilled fields, that they are ready to join the workforce and become integrated into working teams in a quick and fast way. And I have many stories over the years of how industry leaders have talked to me about, the quality of our graduates and their ability to jump into those roles quickly, and often the experience that they bring in from those co-op and other experiences to make them valuable employees.
Thank you. Just curious, maybe on the other side of adding programs, would a postgraduate be in the future of Lakehead for a Barrie campus?
Yep. So we're also looking in those numbers are also graduate student numbers as well. It's primarily undergraduate. But I mentioned the researchers that we already have in place and the ones that we will bring into this program. It's important for them to be engaged in research, and that research involves graduate students. And so training those high quality graduate students is also important, and they can also play a role in industry as well and lead in building research projects perhaps with some of those industries that are done perhaps in place and perhaps on site with our researchers there.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, thank you. We saw a lot of examples of that happening when we were at the University of Offenburg, and it was incredible to see the students working with the businesses and mutually a benefit of a thesis project happening for a business who came with a problem. It was incredible. So yeah, you want to please advance? Yeah.
I was just going to jump in and add on there. I think I've actually been to that university, so it is quite incredible. But that is what we're looking to build, is that sort of mesh between all the players, really, so that you have that ability to see what's going on in industry, to see what's the latest in research. And I think that helps out, both industry and our faculty and students because they are so ready to go.
Yeah, thank you. It was incredible to see, and I agree. It's both the school and the business benefit. They both become better because of the partnership. It was really exciting. So thank you so much. Thank you, Manado.
Thank you, Councillor Harris. I'm going to go to Councillor Nixon.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Nuttall. I would be remiss if I didn't not only welcome you to Barrie and to Ward 2, but to downtown Barrie. There have been a lot of announcements in the last few months, and this is as big as they come. So I know, and I'm trying to frame something here into a question, in the form of a question, and
How excited are you?
yeah, how excited am I? There you go. Very good. I like that. So you won't know if I don't frame it until I'm finished. So, but anyways, I apologize to the other wards for not getting as many announcements lately. This is truly exciting news. I see no negatives whatsoever. And again, thank you for your presentation and welcome.
Thank you, Councillor Nixon. I don't think there's any other questions. Dr. Siddle, I noticed you've been spending quite a bit of time in Barrie, and so you know how beautiful this community is now. So if you just want to move the entire campus down here, don't tell the folks in Thunder Bay. We're willing to take you. In all honesty, we just want to say thank you. We look forward to this partnership. I know the province is excited about this partnership as well, and I think that what we're going to be able to achieve together for young people in the City of Barrie, around the City of Barrie, is something that that will last generations, and something that I think that we've been missing. And so thank you for coming to the table and answering the call. A number of years ago, there was probably too much maybe animosity in the atmosphere around this subject matter, but over time that dissipates. And the fact that you're willing to come, put young people in this area first, and really invest. You know, Councillor Harris, you just nailed it, you know, and how we need to be having this post-secondary education. We need to be having industry because we already have the young people who are craving opportunity. And the idea that now there's going to be a steady path for some children who are today just walking around the City of Barrie, maybe not right now because it might be a little late for them, but who are walking around in playgrounds to be able to go and get their education right here, then go into work for somebody here, then maybe become an entrepreneur and completely change the world in some way. It's a very beautiful thing. So thank you so very much. And we're going to move on to the debate portion of the evening on this subject matter. So feel free to stay, but I think you're probably getting tired of standing like I did earlier. So thank you again. So members of council, if we want to move into the debate portion, I have an amendment from Councillor Harvey, and I believe it's been circulated. Wonderful. We'll start with that and we'll go the rest of the way. So Councillor Harvey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. And again, welcome. I didn't have a question, so I didn't want to try and frame one on the fly like Councillor Nixon, but I am happy that he took the time to welcome you to the downtown, as he is our downtown councillor. And we've seen a dramatic shift in recent months with the investment in our downtown, and even more recently with a grocery store. So it's this is definitely a welcome to the downtown, because even several people I know, when they started doing the math with their kids wanting to go to university, they ended up going to York for the specific reason of the cost of housing on top of all the tuition expenses. So I am very supportive of this. My amendment is solely based because being the chair of finance, I kind of dissected the numbers on this one quite a bit. And I do like to thank Ms. Schlichter and Mr. Gillespie for their time today and helping me sift through this and being able to come up with an amendment that I know works for me and was supportive from staff. So the first piece of the amendment is that paragraph 5 be changed to the funding source from the operating budget to a draw from the reinvestment reserve. And 2, to add an additional paragraph that the mayor send correspondence to the federal government to request funding for the Lakehead University STEM Hub campus in Barrie, and that staff apply for any grant funding opportunities that are or become available in support of this project. And I can speak to that.
The floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. With the current proposed funding, the 4 years of additional startup supplements that were being provided to this would have been on the normal tax roll. I've spoken to some residents, and the feedback I was getting was that they weren't so happy with that piece of it. So that's why I looked at how else can we fund this, because obviously there's certain restrictions as to how we can fund things like this. And that's where the reinvestment reserve was identified. And with it being spread out over a 4-year period, the 2.4 million has a very limited impact on that reserve. Now, I will be open, fair, and frank that the reserve is not in the greatest health at the current moment, but with having conversations with our finance people, that reserve will be maintained, and they will be a shift in the future when it comes to funds from other reserves to offset the funding that is required, not only for other things, but to also incorporate this. Other than that, that is pretty much it. And then obviously looking at other funding sources, because obviously this, we've already seen one announcement piece that's tied to this from the provincial government. However, we haven't seen anything from the federal government when it comes to this, and it would be great if they would come to the table and assist this project, because this has been something that has been sought after for over a decade now. So I would also like to take the time to congratulate Mayor Nuttall in again being able to bring something to this city that's been talked about for a long time, but unfortunately just never came to fruition for one reason or another. So thank you, and thank you to all the staff that were involved in making tonight happen.
Thank you, Councillor, for your amendment. Are there any comments or questions from members of council with regards to the amendment? I'm seeing none. All those in favor? It carries. So we're on the main motion. Are there any other comments or questions from members of council or committee, I guess we're at? Seeing none, I'm going to weigh in and really thank Stephanie and her team. Yes, there's work from everybody on this. It goes across the corporation, from comms and finance and so on and so forth. But Stephanie, you and your team working with Lakehead to get this across the finish line is what's delivered it. And I think that there's a lot that goes on in the day-to-day, and then there was also this on top of that. So I just want to say thank you so very much on behalf of our entire council, and on behalf of the young people and the residents who are going to benefit from this. I think it's a very beautiful thing. And Eric isn't here, but he'll be back in a few minutes. And if you're in here, please say thank you to Eric as well, because he had the very initial job of making the cold calls to start this off. So Eric, I know you'll be back, and we'll also thank you then. But with that said, I'm going to call the vote on the matter. All those in favor? And it carries.
Separate report.
A separate report has been requested by Councillor Morales. Madam Clerk, have you got that noted?
Yes, Mayor Nuttall.
Thank you so much. And we're in inquiries. So Deputy Mayor Thompson, over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. I do have an inquiry, and it's through you to CAO Prowse. So, I thought you were doing something, sorry. I've noticed that our surrounding municipalities have had items on their agenda and stuff of speaking about the boundary adjustment. I was just wondering if you could update council on, will we see anything?
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Deputy Mayor Thompson. I think it's fair, I haven't seen it on other agendas, but I think it is fair to advise council that on December 11th, we do anticipate a presentation. As council is aware, we have been in discussions with our surrounding municipalities regarding the need that the City of Barrie has established for additional lands. There has been work ongoing that has been confidential and will remain confidential until December 11th. But at that time, council will be getting additional information.
Thank you for that. And hearing you, Mr. Prowse, and the report coming, but it just, this needs to get dealt with. Like we need more land to accommodate, large manufacturing in Barrie, and we're not having that. And, to a point Councillor Harris made, when we were in Germany, and Steph's team, we're working on, some big businesses that are looking to relocate to Barrie that are interested. But the sad part is we couldn't accommodate them today without stuff like this. And I just, the Premier has made it very clear that this is something that needs to get done. So the province has hired, and this maybe is more political, so I'll ask you, Mayor Nuttall. The province has hired a facilitator, and I don't know if that's going to help us land manufacturing jobs or the land, and, in the greater Barrie area. I think the only way to achieve that is through a boundary adjustment. And are you confident in this process?
Yeah, I would say right now I am confident in the process in the sense that we have the different municipalities have all cooperated in working together to get a report done. That information is going to be forthcoming when the facilitator deems it to be ready to go public. One of the conversations that we had very early on in the different municipalities was the request for these things to be done in public and more, I would say, transparency around it. We had done a town hall in Ward 1, for instance, and there's lots of other things happening. But I think there'll be a lot of light shed on what's been happening and where it's going once we receive that information. And, it's been my response to the provincial facilitator and to the other municipalities at the moment that report is available and in our hands, that it would be public. So each of us can consider it and understand what's been happening over the last, I guess it's 6 or 7 or 8 months now at this point. Yes, I would say as of today, I certainly have confidence in the process, but certainly I share the concern after, seeing the opportunities that exist for employment in the City of Barrie and seeing the requests that are coming forward, even being approached last Thursday. Stephanie and I were approached by somebody who's already in Barrie who's saying they're now going to be bringing another major manufacturing business to Barrie. These are good problems to have, but they're problems. And so at some point, the rubber's got to hit the road, and at some point, there's got to be movement. But as it stands today, I'm confident in the process.
Thank you for that. No further inquiries.
Any other inquiries? Yeah, Councillor.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Through you to staff, and this may be something that hits Ms. James Reed and Mr. Hughes. The information that came forward on the circulation list talked a bit about the rain barrel program, and so thank you for that update. I had a quick question about whether or not there could be, if not planned, any type of outreach to Living Green Barrie. So they are, I think, a long-standing not-for-profit that had kind of had overlapping programs around rain barrels at the same time as the city, and may have then pulled back on some of those pieces because we had a contract that's just finishing now. With this change, which makes sense, great rationale, what was laid out there, but I know they're identified key stakeholder in the city, part of our Active Transportation Sustainability Committee, not as a member, but as Living Green. If there would be any outreach to let them know that there's a change in case it impacts their strategy or what they might offer or plan to offer, and give them enough time before spring. So just wanted to mention that if that is possible, not seen to be inappropriate, to maybe let them know that has been formalized in case it changes their approach to the Rain Barrel program, knowing that that's something we've collectively both pushed, and there's always been this overlapping kind of marketing and engagement of residents on that. Mr. Hughes, are you able to speak to that at all?
Yeah, through your worship to Councillor Campbell, happy to do that. It's something that we can do. We're giving up that service. There's lots of people that can do it, but if they're one of them that would like to step up, very happy to have them do it.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thanks, Mr. Hughes. Any other questions or inquiries from members of committee? I'm seeing none, so we're going to move on to announcements. Deputy Mayor.
I have none.
Are there any other announcements around the table? Councillor Kungle. Surprise, surprise.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Just for those who might be noticing, members of council are wearing purple this evening, and I'm not sure if you've had this in your agenda or not, but did want to just take an opportunity to thank council for showing up as allies on this. And this is a color and an approach that some may know through our Barrie Women and Children Shelter, to be wrapped in courage. And on Monday, with them, the city raised a flag around International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And so just an opportunity to kind of, thank all of those involved, survivors, volunteers, members of the shelter that continue to do the good work. Those of us that are standing as allies around knowing the signs of domestic violence, opening doors without judgment, and embracing people where they're at in that, and knowing that there are competing factors. Housing is also another one, having enough shelter beds. But I just wanted to highlight that there's a lot of great things happening in the city, and we've got a shelter who's actually taking a next step around opening up housing and more space. So I welcome the public to get involved in learning more about what the Women and Children Shelter is doing in Barrie, and some of the ways in which they're engaging members of the public to look at creating more capacity for the shelter system there.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other announcements? I'm going to ask you to make an announcement, which is kind of an inquiry, but an announcement. On the same subject matter, the police chief held a gala on Friday night for the Women and Children Shelter. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Councillor or Deputy Mayor Thompson? I had to leave a little early, so.
So on Friday, the the chief's gala was in, I guess, partner with the Women and Children Shelter. All money raised from the gala would go to the Women and Children Shelter. It was a great evening, lots of local sponsors. Unfortunately, I don't know how much money was raised. Thousands. That's, I will say that. Yes. But, yeah. Thanks for reminding me, Nixon. I'm a little bit sick from that, but yeah. So I'm not sure, but I can get that. And it was a great evening, and lots of local sponsors, and there was the volunteers were honored at the gala as well. They were there to enjoy the evening. So,
thank you for the announcement. I'm now going to go into the announcements that I have here, which are applications for the Bright Futures Grant. Barrie is open until December 6th. The grant provides funding to support new or enhanced programming for at-risk children, youth, and young adults. For more information, please visit barrie.ca/brightfuturesgrant. A reminder that on December 4th, there will be a public meeting happening at City Hall at 6 p.m. to review an application for the lands known municipally as 282 King Street. For more information, you can visit barrie.ca. We're now onto the CERC list. Are there any comments or questions regarding the November 20th, 2024 circulation list? I'm seeing none. I'm going to move on to the November 27th, 2024 circulation list. I'm seeing none there, which brings us to our favorite time of the evening, adjournment at 8:36 p.m. Thank you, members of committee and staff, for all of the work for tonight's meeting. Thank you. We'll miss you, Don.